We recently published a video of what the perfect NFL quarterback would look like today. But what if we tried building the worst NFL QB?
We can rebuild him. We have the technology. But I don't want to spend a lot of money.
For this list, we're focusing on starting quarterbacks who have ample playing time and experience under their belts. Let's dive into our projection for what the worst NFL quarterback would look like using the traits of current starters. Head and vision, Daniel Jones. Among all active NFL starting quarterbacks, nobody's more painful to watch than Daniel Jones. Pure and simple. His decision-making has been atrocious, save for one solid year in 2022 when he excelled in the game manager role for the New York Giants. And by excelled, we mean not screwing it up entirely, because he only had 3,205 passing yards and 15 TDs that year. Through his first 5 seasons, Jones has 40 interceptions in 60 games. His completion percentage has fallen below 63% in 2 of Jones's 5 NFL seasons too. Only Josh Allen has fumbled more times than Jones since the latter entered the NFL since 2019. But here's the catch. Allen has 51 fumbles in 82 games, while Danny Dimes has 46 fumbles in 60 games. Also, Allen makes up for it by being really good. Since Jones' rookie year, his 24 fumbles lost are most in football. So, yeah, just kind of think about that. Allen has 2 less fumbles lost than DJ in 22 more game appearances. You can only attribute so many of those fumbles to the woeful offensive line. Jones doesn't have the pocket awareness to evade pressure, and too often he tries to get too cute by running around and around and around until the opposing D forces the fumble. And these are just some of the many examples of Jones lacking the proper football IQ to succeed in this league. Jones doesn't throw the ball away, slide, nor get down to take the sack. He always has to play like it's Madden. And that gimmicky stuff just does not work in the pros. Jones' mediocre accuracy, mind-numbing interceptions, and backbreaking habit of committing such careless fumbles time and time again make him the worst NFL quarterback in this category. In fact, it is not really up for debate. Accuracy, Baker Mayfield. Those on the time to bake bandwagon won't be happy with this entry, but truth be told, folks, any quarterback on an NFL roster with worse accuracy than Baker Mayfield is either inexperienced or a backup. Or maybe a third stringer. According to Pro Football Reference, the average completion percentage every season from 2018 to 2023 in order was 64.9, 63.5, 65.2, 64.8, 64.2, and 64.5. Through Mayfield's first 6 seasons, his completion percentage was 63.8, 59.4, 62.8, 60.5, 60.0, and 64.3. So in other words, Mayfield's completion percentage has been below the league average every single year. Notice that he was a few points off the average completion percentage in 2019, 2021, and 2023. And among all active NFL starting quarterbacks, Mayfield's career completion percentage of 61.9 ranks 28th. I mean, highly scrutinized guys like Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, and Mitch Trubisky have higher completion percentages than Mayfield. That's also alarming for the first overall pick of 2018 because he was not asked to be the guy in Cleveland. He rarely had to throw 30 times in a game in the Nick Chubb-led offense, yet Mayfield couldn't consistently complete his short passes. If he wasn't a checkdown specialist, who knows how much worse Mayfield's career completion numbers would be. This is not the guy that you want on your team in a game of darts. Arm Mac Jones. Okay, we know. Mac Jones is no longer the New England Patriots starting quarterback. He's now the Jacksonville Jaguars backup quarterback behind Trevor Lawrence following an offseason trade. But I think we can all agree that Jones has enough playing experience, and his arm is just that much worse compared to other quarterbacks that we just had to use him here. And to be quite frank, you have to have a good arm to be a starting QB in this league. Ahead of the 2023 season, The Ringer ranked Jones's arm talent as the worst among starting QBs with a score of 70. And well, let's just say the Alabama product didn't do anything to silence the critics in his final year with the Pats. Through his first 3 seasons, Jones has averaged just 10.3 yards per completion. From 2021 to 2023, the league average in yards per completion was 11.0, 10.9, and 10.9. So yeah, Jones is well off the average in that category. In 2023 alone, Jones only completed 17 passes of 20-plus yards. Teammate and backup Bailey Zappi had the same amount as Jones, despite 133 fewer pass attempts. Oof. Jones also had just 2 completions of 40-plus yards, another reminder that he's just too reliant on the dink and dunk game. And since he entered the league, Jones has completed only 2 passes of 50-plus yards. In 2023 alone, league leader Tua Tagovailoa had 7 completed passes of 50-plus yards. Even Taylor Heineke, Mason Rudolph, Justin Fields, Desmond Ridder, and Jake Browning each had 3 completed passes of 50 or more yards in 2023. So yeah, that is not a great look for Mr. Jones here.
Pass me a bottle, Mr. Jones.
Legs, speed, and mobility, Matthew Stafford. Sorry, Matthew Stafford, but you're basically on this list by default. The era of slow and pure pocket passing quarterbacks is quickly diminishing. With Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Matt Ryan, and Ben Roethlisberger long retired, Stafford was the only logical option here. Now, this is not a knock against Stafford. He's such a prolific passer that the Detroit Lions and Los Angeles Rams never bothered to draw up running plays with him. That said, it's not ideal if Stafford is out of options to the point where the only choice is to tuck it and run. Stafford has 1,315 career rushing yards and 15 touchdowns on the ground. Those numbers may not sound bad at first, but they merely sound decent because of his longevity. The first overall pick of 2009 has only surpassed 200 yards rushing in 1 season, when he had 207 in the 2016 campaign. In fact, Stafford has only recorded triple-digit rushing totals in 5 seasons. Now, we all love Matt Stafford. He's as dangerous a pocket passer as it gets, but let's be real here. There is no other QB you would feel worse about having to run the ball in a pivotal situation than Stafford himself. Scrambling and elusiveness, Derek Carr. Like Matthew Stafford, Carr is never going to scare opposing defenses on running plays, unless it's a QB sneak. Carr has proven to be less difficult to defend compared to younger quarterbacks because he lacks the mobility, quickness, and mind to evade sacks. Tom Brady and Peyton Manning were always slow, but they often avoided sacks because they knew how to read and anticipate the opposing defenses. That quick duck move or ability to get the ball out quickly set non-mobile QBs like them apart from the others. Well, Carr has shown time and time again that he has minimal ability to dance out of sacks and QB pressures when the pocket collapses. Consider that Tom Brady is the most sacked QB ever, having taken 565 of them in 335 games. That averages out to roughly 1.68 sacks per game. Through his first 10 seasons, Carr has taken an average of roughly 1.855 points per game. And believe us, he had the luxury of a good offensive line during his run with the Oakland/Las Vegas Raiders. Carr may be slightly quicker and more mobile than Stafford, but the latter has better pocket awareness and can dance his way out of sacks. Close in on Carr and he's essentially done like dinner. Size, toughness, and physicality. Bryce Young. The vast majority of starting QBs these days are at least 6'2". Carolina Panthers QB Bryce Young is basically on here by default. He's only 5'10" and 204 pounds. So you're not going to see many designed runs for the first overall pick of 2023. Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray are also under 6 feet, but we've seen them flash with their athleticism, electric speed, and mobility. Young doesn't have the same level of explosiveness in the ground game, which is why his build and physique is a big concern. Because he's undersized, there will always be a concern about how many hits Young can take without getting injured. Even quarterback sneaks have to be nerve-wracking for Panthers fans because it is not ideal to see Young diving under guys twice his size. Poise. Dak Prescott. Prescott puts up elite numbers every year, but that's basically all that you get from him. Die-hard Dallas Cowboys fans don't want to hear that, but it's true, as evidenced by his 2-5 playoff record, coupled with his failure to get Dallas past the divisional round. Prescott is just not the type of guy you'd want to lead in a clutch situation. When we built the perfect quarterback, we had Cincinnati Bengals signal caller Joe Burrow here. Joe Cool just shows up to games and displays no nerves whatsoever, even if he's getting ragdolled in playoff games. See Aaron Donald. The problem with Prescott is you can tell that he isn't able to lead his teammates by example, and that's a large part because he gets too nervous and in his own head when it matters most. You just don't see him naturally taking control in the huddle the way that guys like Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers do. Prescott far too often plays scared to lose, and he loses aplenty that way. Clutch in leadership, Kirk Cousins. We were considering using Dak Prescott here, but Cousins got the dishonor here for a couple of reasons. Dak has one more playoff win than Cousins, despite coming into the NFL 4 years later, and he doesn't have an embarrassing record against teams with winning records. Also, being the 2022 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award winner greatly exemplifies Prescott's leadership off the field. Cousins got to play on a star-studded Minnesota Vikings offense for 6 years. They only went to the playoffs twice in that period, with Cousins going 1-2. That included a brutal home loss to the Daniel Jones-led New York Giants in the 2022 wildcard round, after Minnesota had won 13 games. Cousins had a miserable 16-47 career record against winning teams. They say wins aren't a quarterback stat, but that is a giant enough sample size. The bottom line is that he doesn't elevate his play and carry his teammates when they need it most. Like Prescott, Cousins always puts up good regular season numbers, but Cousins is not the locker room leader that you need compared to most of today's top quarterbacks. And he is going to fail with the game on the line far more than he's gonna succeed. But hey, what changes would you make to our creation of the worst starting quarterback? Is there any element that we may have missed? Any player that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.